So my view is always just like this, right? I'm always just looking through a straw. It's limited. And so one way to think about right view is to say that all views are wrong views. Oh, it's hard to hear that, right? The first time I heard that, it was hard to swallow. But what I mean is that all views are incomplete views. They are not 100% correct because I don't have 100% of the information. And so if I want to maintain right view, if I want to be looking at the big picture, if I want to not be really stuck and really attached, which I see when I look causes so much of my suffering, right? Then we're invited in the practice of right view to hold every view, no matter how attached I am to it, no matter how much I love it, no matter how much I think it's right, no matter how many points I have to prove it, but to hold all views like, yeah, but there's wrong embedded in the view. There may be some right, but there's also some wrong. And there may be some things here that are correct, but there are also definitely things that are incorrect. And then, right, if I can hold that, right, if I can maintain that perspective, this is the practice of right view. If I can maintain that perspective, then my whole life starts to change. Because then I'm sitting there in what would have become an argument with somebody, right versus wrong, this versus that, Republican versus Democrat, whatever. Right? And I instead am there thinking, oh, okay, so I have my understandings and they have theirs. There are some truths in my understandings. There are some truths in theirs. There are things that are incorrect, that are bent, that are unbeneficial in my current understanding. And the same is true for them. Right? And you see how those two people, right, are so much more likely to take hands and walk down the path and find their own truths. They're not even interested anymore in like telling the other person what's true because they understand that the truth is here. The truth is I have every potentiality in my basement, and my life becomes, the truth of my life becomes what I diligently water and bring into the living room. The truth becomes, how much can I learn how this garden works? That's what we're doing. We're like gardeners, learning how to garden, how to tend all these little plants, but the garden is us. Right? The garden is your life. And so our mindfulness practice, paying attention with love, as I like to define it, becomes this whole series of practices that are designed to teach me how to tend my garden. And just like a garden out back, it changes, right? I got to do different stuff in the wintertime than I got to do in the summertime. I got to do different stuff when I'm angry than I do when I'm sad. Right? I have to do different stuff when the aphids come and attack. I have to do different stuff at the family dinner when my aunt starts talking about politics. Right? I'm constantly tending the garden, and the garden is constantly changing. And understanding that is right view. So if you don't like the term, feel free to change it to loving view. Feel free to look at the Noble Eightfold Path as loving view, loving thinking, loving speech, loving action, loving livelihood, loving diligence, loving mindfulness, and loving concentration. It's just 8 ways to learn how to love. And if we can learn how to love, then we'll find our truth. It will be ineluctable. It'll be so obvious to us, we just can't avoid it.